or get a good idea of who your niche is and who to talk to. Today we're going to go into planning. For those of you who don't know me, I am Amy Innes. I am a Blue Diamond leader. I've been doing doTERRA for, gosh, I think it's coming up to 7 years now. I've been definitely doing the business for about 7 years, actually, because my son is 7 in January. So welcome, everybody. Really excited to talk this through. A little bit of background about myself. So I actually started my business in more of a face-to-face way. So the social media side of things has been something that over the last 2 years I have developed more of. The big pause that we have had over 2 years with everything that was shut down was actually really good for me to recalibrate my business and look at other ways that I could get really creative with my business and connect with more people online. I'd always done a lot of support through online to connect with my existing members, but now I look at it in a more, it's a great way to work with whatever's going on in the world. You know, I find social media is a brilliant way to meet people all over the world from all different walks of life and be able to help them from the comfort of our homes. So today I'm going to be talking about planning. So I have 3 small children and a husband that works away for work. So it's me and the kids midweek. So planning for me is key to keeping my head on track, to making sure that I don't lose my path of what I'm trying to get across and who I'm trying to help. And I absolutely loved all the points that Trace covered yesterday about niche, because in my early days of social media, I was talking to Trace and I was saying, you know, what am I doing wrong? And she'd given me some really similar points. And I found that really helpful at that point, because I felt like I was talking to everybody and it really helped me to niche down. So if you've missed that, the recording has been shared in the major groups, and of course, reach out to your upline if you can't find it. So planning today, it's when you're looking at your content plan, it's much more than just looking at choosing a photo, writing a caption, scheduling it and posting it whenever inspiration hits. You know, many people ask, well, what's a content plan? So if you're using social media, you want to make sure that you have the right content to get the right results. So, and it's also important to think about publishing the content at the right time as well. So this sort of includes a balance of sales and informational content, as well as building a relationship with your followers, which of course takes time and consistency. So we've got this brilliant challenge that we have put together, but keep in mind that it will take time to develop that relationship with your audience, especially if you're just starting out. Okay, so again, if you're not too sure who you're trying to serve just yet and you're feeling a little bit confused, watch the video yesterday. But the next thing I want to talk about is setting some really simple goals about what you want to achieve through your social media content plan. So it could be, what are your goals? Are they wanting to build a community? Is it increasing awareness of what you do and how it can help? Or is it getting potential customers engaged? And it can be a mix of everything as well. One thing that I also find is really helpful is actually setting some tasks and some goals for yourself as well. And if you're new to creating content, consider these examples. So set daily goals for yourself, as well as weekly goals for your social media post. So this can be, you know, what do you want to do on a day-to-day basis? And what is the message that you're wanting to get across overall? And when I'm going to talk through some ideas on how you can look at your content plan over a month, which can of course then extend further as well. And if you don't yet have a vibrant social media, that's totally fine. It's just about getting started. And this challenge is a really perfect way to do that, because it'll get you in the habit of thinking ahead and really working out how you can get your messaging to those who need your knowledge and your skills. Okay. So once you have your goals, I want you to choose your appropriate social media platforms. We touched on this a little bit yesterday. It depends on where your niche is hanging out. A lot of the content I'm talking about tonight is targeted towards Instagram and Facebook, because that is sort of where I hang out. But, you know, if you want to look at other platforms as well, completely up to you. Just you do the research on where your people are hanging out. And it could just be a case of testing and trialing and seeing which one you're loving as you go as well. All right, so why is content planning important? When we think about it, which strategy in your mind is more likely to succeed? Picture these two scenarios. You've got number one, which is the chaotic social media content that's written and posted just whenever the inspiration hits. Or number two, identifying what your marketing goals are and creating content in advance that aligns with your overall message, plus sharing when the inspiration hits as well. So you get that, you've got that, I guess, the content that runs through, but then you've got that inspiration that can hit as well. And I'm going to walk you through the different types of content that you can actually create and how you can utilize that in those different ways. It actually saves you time in the long run as well, and it gets you more mileage out of your work. So when you're thinking about your content plan, you may not realize, but you can actually reuse and repurpose the content that you're creating. So you may have a post that you write that you can then utilize again for an email out to your email base. But when we think about it, having that content plan is the process of designing and creating content that will actually feed into your goals, and it will actually help you to get there sooner, and it keeps you organized. And if you're anything like me with a few little ones running around, or just you've got a part-time job, or whatever you've got, full-time job, it really helps you to just keep that level head as you're going about your day. Okay, and it also, what I find for me is it really helps to have it allows more space for creative thinking and avoids that burnout feeling and that feeling like you're always behind, like, oh, I got to post something today, I don't know what to post. It really helps you to look at that big picture goal and, how you want to help people overall. Okay. Now, when we're thinking of each social media post, it's, a single post is not important on its own, but it's that the overall messaging of all of your posts that create who you are, who you're trying to help. You're talking to your niche, and it determines who will come to you and will get to know you more. So it's not about creating these, high-flying one post that's going to go viral and everything's going to be great. It's about creating that message throughout. All right. So now I want to dive in a little bit more. Now, Tracy's going to be talking next week about the 4 pillars of content. So there's 4 different pillars of content that she's going to be talking about. But what I want you to think about is when you're posting, you're going to be choosing categories through your niche that you're going to be talking about. So to give you an example, you won't just be posting all day about oils. And if I use the example of, say, a holistic vet's not going to just be sitting there talking about oils. They're going to be talking about helpful tips to help pets holistically, fun facts that can help the pet owner, daily rituals and routines that can help pets, product education and features, and also bringing in the oils into that as well, and what products can help someone have a healthier pet naturally. Simple oil recipes they can use, and also talking about different challenges that pet owners will face and how a solution can come about through what their knowledge is. So as you can see there, it's not just oils, but it's ticking off all those boxes. And obviously that's just an example to help you get your head around. So whatever you do, think about that and think about ways that you can keep things interesting, but still be helping your people. I want you to think about getting your head around the different types of content. And this is, I guess, step 2. If you're new to social media, this is a quick rundown of what each is. So Instagram and Facebook have a few different types of content for their platforms, from short videos like Reels to live videos where they're a little bit longer with a little bit more education, to still posts like a single photo or a carousel image, which I'll go into in a second. But a post is probably the most simple piece of content that you can create. It's basically a static post on your page with either a single photo or a carousel, which is up to 10 photos, or a graphic. So you can either do a graphic or 10 graphics. And the carousel is a really great way to tell a story really simply. So your static posts, you want them to be interesting and engaging. And what I love about this is the simplicity. You can look at your overall month and you can go, okay, I'm going to choose throughout my month, I'm going to put a static post here, a static post here, and you can put in your different types of content here. But with your posts, I really find that these are the easiest to plan ahead, because you can pre-take a photo, you can create your images for your carousels, and it's just a really simple way. With this though, I want you to look at your posts as a way to share with your existing audience. Your existing audience are people that you are already following you. You can also, one thing with this is when you have a carousel post, something that's really helpful is both Instagram and Facebook have an algorithm, benefit at the moment, that they can actually share multiple of your pictures from your carousel. So you can actually get more leverage out of that post if you choose to do it as a carousel post. And it's, an easy way to share information. A reel, so these are short videos that generally just a short little snippet with information. They can either be a little bit fun, where you can have a voiceover, or they can literally just be someone talking about a short snippet. They can be up to 90 seconds, and I'll go into a little bit more about reels in a second, but reels are more targeted for attracting new people to you. So these are often really they're more so shared. The algorithm boosts them further than single posts, so you tend to get more leverage in attracting new people to you, so keep that in mind. You've got live videos. Now with live videos, with our challenge, we've sort of said to focus on reels and posts, but live videos, if you can do a couple of those a month, that can be like a mini class on a topic. You can actually then post your live video, so they can go for a longer amount of times. Trace, is it half an hour is the max now for the live videos?
Oh, it's been a while since I've done one, Amy. I think it might be half an hour.
Anyway, they're sort of the longer. So your reels are sort of your 90 seconds max. Your live videos are if you're wanting to, teach a mini class or do an educational video, and you can then post that to your feed, and you have up to 30 days to post that to your feed as well. And one thing to note with your live videos is they will only be shown to your existing audience. So they're another one that you're not going to be gaining new people from that. It's going to be people that are following you that will more than likely get a notification that you've gone live. And you can do posts to let people know that you're going to be going live about a certain topic prior to the event. Okay. Stories.
Sorry, Amy, I'll just clarify. So that's on Instagram, but on Facebook, it's anyone who happens to cross your path.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Okay, perfect. No, that's good to know. I'm on Instagram a lot more than I'm on Facebook at the moment. So thanks, Trace. Now, the other type of content that I absolutely love is stories. So stories, these are both on Instagram and Facebook, and they're just little snippets of your day-to-day. The cool thing that I love about stories is they have the potential to be interactive. So you can ask your audience questions. So you can put up a poll, you can ask them to ask you questions, and then they can, type in what their questions are, and you can get a little bit of interaction there. And the other cool thing, and I don't know if you guys realize this, but if you are just starting out and you have a few topics that you would like to talk about, and say you put up, ask me a question about essential oils, and no one responds, you can actually put in a few key questions to kick it off. And when I first started and I didn't have a very engaged audience, I did that a few times and I felt a little bit silly. But what it actually did is it actually kick-started the questions. And now I actually don't ever have to do that anymore, because people are used to the fact that Amy's popping a question up. This is a great time to ask about low tox. This is a great time to ask about whatever it is that's been on their mind, if they've been following me for a while. But if you have the crickets happen, know that you can actually do that. So if there are things that you're wanting to cover, you can do that. Now, stories are a little bit more relaxed, and that's what I love about them. I do try to stick to my branding when I'm doing, questions and when I'm sharing different things. However, when I'm just sharing about my day-to-day, it's just me with my kids. I might be showing something that I'm doing to help my audience get to know the real me and what I'm passionate about. And so I love that. And it doesn't need to be picture perfect. It's actually better if it's not picture perfect, because people want to see the real you. Okay. And yes, it does. It builds trust. Thanks, Trace. So from here, it's important to decide what types of content you'll use. And as I mentioned, with the challenge, and I'll bring up the ebook in a second, we talk about the different ones that we recommend using. And then you just have to decide what pace you want to go at and which types of content you want to bring in. Okay. All right, so the next step, once you've worked out what you're wanting to create, is have a brainstorm. So think of this as the bones of your plan. And so this isn't getting in there and writing every single individual caption. This is literally just having a brain dump of everything that you want to share. Don't think about it, just write it down. Get books on your favorite topic, any sort of things that you've collected along the way, and just have a brainstorm. Dump down anything that you think that your niche can learn from you. And remember that it's not set in cement. It's just about getting the bones down of like, this is what I want to talk to my niche about. This is what I know I can help them with. And again, we'll be going deeper with the different pillars of content that you can cover. But in the meantime, get your bones down on paper. Write down all the ideas you can think of and have it meet the following criteria. So it's about one of the topics that are on your list. So remember we talked about earlier about like brainstorming, what are your key messages that you want to help your clients with or your customers with, like we were talking about with the holistic bit. And also think about your social media goals that we mentioned as well. So as long as your ideas connect in with those two, perfect. And remember that great content is relevant to your audience, it's related to your themes, and it's connected to your business goal. And remember that your business goal can literally be just building rapport. Like that can be one of your business goals. And it's one of the most important things, because people will only purchase from people they like, know, and trust. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the ebook just quickly so that you guys can see, because you wouldn't have actually seen the ebook yet. So we're going to actually share this with everyone. Share screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. Can you see the ebook? Perfect. Okay, so this is the ebook for the challenge. Now in here, we've just got some really simple steps to really help you get this all down on paper. And again, I'm not going to go through this bit at the front. I talk about the different parts of it. Sorry, Trace has noted down the different things that you can choose from. So newsfeed posts, reels, live videos. Now, if you're new to socials, I've actually popped in some information here that I've just gone over about the posts, what are reels, what are lives, so you can have a good read of that. And it can be really helpful. I know when I really started getting into Instagram, and I am not technology minded, so it was really helpful for me to actually write down what all the different things were. And yeah, so this is all there for you. Now, there are some really amazing topic ideas for reels and posts, and Trace put the majority of these together, and they are brilliant. They're all just ideas. So obviously, don't copy and paste, but it's about getting you into that brainstorming and thinking, okay, how can I use these ideas to talk to my people? So just think outside the box. And so there's actually 30 different ideas that you can actually do, and it's really, really helpful. So this will really help with your brainstorming. Okay. And I'll just scroll through these quickly. But yeah, you can sort of see, there's recipe ideas. There's, if you're doing low tox, there's cleaning ideas, but you get the idea. Okay. And then you've got some email ideas in there as well. So we will make this available for everybody, but I just wanted to let you know that this is here for you. Okay. So I'm just going to stop sharing this one. I'll just make sure okay. I find one thing I want to mention as well with actually getting the brain dump down, I actually find that if I get too much in my head, I get overwhelmed with too much information, and it actually blocks me from even beginning. And I find if I get the bones of my content down of like, this is what I want to share, I've got all my ideas, I may not do all of those ideas, but getting it down on paper actually helps me to then map it out. And something to think about is do you, but add oils. And this is a really important thing because people want to know you. They want to know what you're passionate about. And then you bring the oils into that, and it really helps people to see how they can then incorporate it into their lives. And it helps you to stand out from everyone else as well, because we're also individual and also different. We have so many different gifts that we can all bring in together.
Hey, Ames, you're still sharing.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So let me just get out of, there we are. Okay. But yeah, and again, don't just plan oil content. Always think about how you can continue to bring value to your community. Okay, so the next is to decide when you're going to post. Think about when the best time is to post things. Now, sometimes these are obvious. New monthly specials, product of the month reminders for your members community if you have an online Facebook group that you'd like to share reminders through, or even if you're sharing that to your main pages as well, you know, that's really easy to sort of map out. But what we've also put together, and there's a link to this in your ebook, is and I'm going to share this. This is a really great content planner. Now, this is, you should be able to see this as well. Oops. Now, can you guys see this? Yeah, perfect. So this helps you map out a month. And again, I start on paper, and I use my notes when I'm just mapping out. Like I might be out and about and I hear a reel audio and I think, oh, that would be awesome. And before I lose it with my mum brain, I literally just type it into my notes and then I can add it into my content plan. So you've got the weeks, you've got the 4 weeks, obviously. There's different slots here for each day, depending on what you're planning on posting. The type of post, so you know, if you want to do on Mondays and Thursdays, you want to do a static post, you can go in and you can click post. Now I've included story here as well, even though stories are a bit more ad hoc and they're just whenever you're doing different things. I find for me, there are certain things that I will do on my stories every week. So every single week I will do a question time. And so I'll include that in my content plan. Every single week I do a walkthrough at the shops and I'll talk to people about different things that they can swap out. So I've actually mapped that in. The other things that you can include that in for stories is like if you plan on doing recipes and you know, you in your mind, you're like, yep, I want to do a recipe a week. You can pop that in as a story idea, and then that way you can make sure you've got the right supplies that you need. You know, you make sure you've got all the ingredients that you need, and just again, it's those bones that you can have there. You've got space to write a caption, space to note down if you've saved a reel audio, or you know, you plan on creating your own, and just writing a note there so that you have an idea in your mind of like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. A link to a Canva image. Now, Joey, in a couple of weeks' time, is going to be doing a lesson on Canva and how to use Canva to create graphics and your carousel posts and things like that if you're wanting to do that. And then you can link that up. So it's all easy to find, and then different notes if you need that as well. Now, I want to be really honest with you. I don't do a full month of detailed write down into every single caption for a month. If I was that organized, it'd be amazing. I do try to have a week in advance though of my captions, at least for, you know, the majority of my posts, so that I'm not left there going, oh my gosh, what do I post today? Especially for days when I'm busy. Like I homeschool my kids, so I know that on a Wednesday, that's a full day out for us. We go and do a homeschool activity. So I know that my Wednesdays are booked out and I know that I've got my my content scheduled. But I do have the bones for the month planned out so that it's really easy for me to come in and do that. So I hope that you find this calendar plan helpful. But yeah, just use it, utilize it the way that suits you. I'll just make sure, decide the frequency. But yeah, something also with this is, you know, over time, like through this challenge and beyond, I mean, obviously this challenge is there to just help you get in the hang of using social media consistently, but experiment, you know, work out how many times a week is working for you, what types of posts each day you'd like to do, you know, with the challenge, we say aim for a post and a reel each day for 30 days. See how that feels. If it's too much, you can alternate. You can do a reel one day, a post the next day. Find your flow and experiment through that. But yeah, just keeping in mind that it's that consistency. All right, so I'm going to stop this share. But yeah, again, you'll have the link to this so that you can download it and you can edit it. Okay. All right. Right. So I think one of the biggest things that I wanted to mention here as well is it's really important to take responsibility. You know, it's easy to lose track of planning content, you know, and have that familiar, oh crap, I need to post for tomorrow. And I guess it's your job to ensure that you're prepped. And it doesn't mean, as I said, it doesn't mean you need months and months. It's just about having that forward plan of what direction are you wanting to take your business, what messaging, and having that forward thinking. Because, you know, I know when I first started social media, for me, I was making the mistake of talking to everybody and sharing everything that was on my mind, sharing every single emotion, you know, and I think that can be a really common thing. And what I realized is I don't need to be on all the time. You know, I can think about what's going to help my people every day, you know, and it doesn't mean I need to share about the 20 meltdowns that my child had, or, you know, I can share about the oil that helped me if I'd like to, but you don't have to share everything. And having a content plan gives you that, I guess, the relief of knowing that you can switch off a little bit. You know, you can switch off at times. You don't have to be switched on all the time. And you're ticking those boxes of like, yep, I'm creating value for my customers. And I think, especially when we run our own business, we can, I guess, sometimes it can be hard to switch off. And this really helps you to have that, yep, work time, I'm not working, and have that freedom and flexibility to, yeah, just have that balance in life without feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so the next part is moving into the fleshy part of your plan. So we had the skeleton and now we're moving into the fleshy part. So this is where you start thinking about the written parts of the posts and content. And that includes notes for video scripts if you're doing your little reels. I find it really helpful when I'm doing a reel to actually write some notes to keep me on track. And I have that story in my mind of like, okay, what am I trying to get across here? The beginning, the middle, and the end. And that really helps just having those notes. So don't be afraid to have notes with you when you're doing your videos. And you know, what can help is writing the post first and then pulling that out for your video scripts as well. One thing when it comes to writing captions is with posts, especially with Facebook, long posts are fantastic. Instagram, the posts, there's a limit. I can't remember what the actual, you might know, Trace, but the limit for Instagram posts is a certain number of words. With reels, you can go even more simple. So long captions for Facebook posts, you can do. Your other posts, you can keep them more simple. That's actually better to have them really simple. Okay. Now, another thing to think about, and I've mentioned this briefly, is to think of yourself as a storyteller. And again, Trace is going to be going through some of this with her stuff, but it can be really helpful to think about that beginning, middle, and end. And whether it's an educational video, a funny viral trend, a quick product demo, a behind the scenes content of, look, this is what I'm doing today. I'm packing some welcome packs for my new members, or anything else. Think of it as an opportunity to tell a story. So some key questions to ask yourself is, what is the post going to be about? What are you telling your audience? Does your story have your beginning, your middle, and your end? And I know I've said that a couple of times, but that really helped me. What emotion do you hope your audience feels? What action do you want them to take? So the call to action at the end. Do you want them to just comment back and communicate? Do you want them to get in touch with you? What's the goal behind it, essentially? Okay. And you may not have answers to every single one of these questions with every post that you create, but it helps you to have clarity to try and answer as much of these when you're creating your content. Okay. But yeah, and when you're creating your content and you're creating your scripts, it really gives you that direct plan. You're able to clearly provide solutions to the problem you're highlighting for your people. If there's a problem that you're talking about, you're really, really creating that solution. You don't get off track. And the other thing that I love as well is when you're writing your content, you may even find that more ideas are coming for your brainstorm list. And, you know, that's what like having your brainstorming list is a running list that you can continue to come back to, especially when you're feeling blocked on ideas. You can come back to that, pull that and go, oh, I haven't done that one yet. Or you can alter and change ones that you already have done. Okay. And if you're creating a carousel, like you would have seen the carousel images where it might be something like 3 steps to reduce toxins in your home. It can be really easy. If you've already done the caption, it can be really easy to pull the content to break it up into your carousel graphics as well. And one thing I want to point out is I often see, and I made this mistake a lot as well when I first started, is I often see people post something like, oh, I love my orange oil. And that's all they'll post. And when you think about it, that's not really telling a story. And someone who's not involved in oils will have no idea what orange oil does. So think about saying something like, oh, I woke up really flat today. You know, those days when you just wake up feeling blah. So orange oil has been scientifically proven to lift your mood. And I love how it makes me feel when I diffuse it first thing in the morning. Such a beautiful uplifting oil. So you're showing the problem that you're having, and you're showing how it's providing a solution. And you're telling that story. Okay. So I hope this is helpful, guys. But yeah, the next is moving into, you know, filming your videos. So filming your reels and creating your graphics. So Joey's going to be talking about the graphic side of things more, but some things to consider if you are creating a reel is how long do you want it to be? They can be 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds, or even 90 seconds now as well. The other side is if you have an audio that you've chosen, sometimes that'll actually choose the length of your reel for you. So are there other features you want to make use of when you're doing reels? So do you want to add captions? I really recommend, if you are sharing something, just a snippet or a little bit of advice, always add the captions, because so many people just scroll through with their sound off, and it really helps you to get more engagement, even for those who aren't listening with the sound on. Are there any effects that you'd like to use? Are there any, you know, like GIFs, whatever they are? The music, is there music that you'd like to add as a background? A really helpful tip as well. Trace just said, same for stories, always add captions or writing to explain the story. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. A really helpful thing to do is, if you are sharing a short snippet, is if you choose a trending audio, so some music that you would like to add that's one of the top ones being played at the moment, and you put that, you can actually go into the settings of the the reel, and you can change the music to be really down low and your voice to be louder. And if you go onto my page, you'll be able to see I do this quite a bit. If you're using a trending audio, it actually pushes the reel further than if you're just talking. I always kick myself if I've posted something and I've forgotten to put the background music as well. So that's a really handy little tip. Okay. One thing is it's really easy on social media to lose so much time scrolling and get caught in the scroll hole. And I've done it from time to time. Something to always think about is, am I creating or am I consuming? And whenever I think like that and I ask myself that question, it immediately snaps me out of that, oh, got to get out of the scroll hole. Let's get back to it. Okay. So, because otherwise you could spend all day just scrolling, and we don't want to do that. Now, the biggest thing is just keep things simple, especially if you're first starting. I was horrible at reels when I first started. And, you know, I'm improving slowly, but I think what's helped is I've kept things really simple. I haven't tried to do these really crazy, lots of pointing, lots of different things when I first started, because it's just too hard and it takes up way too much time. And often you'll find that Instagram will do a crazy glitch and you'll lose the video anyway. I'm sure if anyone's been doing social media for a while, they'll find that's very frustrating. One tip is save as you go. So even if you're thinking it's going to be a really quick one, make sure you save a draft before you post it, because sometimes you can spend all this time creating, press publish, and Instagram will have a glitch and you'll lose the entire thing. It's happened to me. So just remember to save drafts before you press publish.
Oh, I just want to add too with that. I've had a whole heap of reels in my draft section on Instagram, and then I had to reinstall Instagram and I lost all of them.
No. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, so you know how there's a little save thing once you've made it, even though it doesn't save with the music. I like quickly go up there.
Yes.
Just so you know.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, saving it to the phone, very important. The other thing that's really cool as well is after you publish, you'll probably notice that if you try to download it and you've used an Instagram audio, it won't let you download the audio. So there's actually a really cool website that you can type in. Let me just get that for you. I wrote it down, which allows you to actually download the complete. Where did I put that? Give me a sec. So type this, write this down. So igram.io. So it's HTTPS. What do they call that thing? Semicolon. And dash igram.io. If you click on that, you can actually, yeah, I'll type it in here. Give me one sec. That's a really, see, not technology minded here, but I'm making it work. Okay, there it is. If you save this, you can actually, if you go into the post after you've posted it, you can actually get the link to that reel, and you just go onto this page. You can actually download it in full. It will include the audio, which means that you can then repurpose it for things like I've repurposed for Pinterest, I've repurposed for Facebook, and it has the audio in full, which is brilliant. So that was a really, really helpful tip for me. Okay. All right. But yes, keep things simple. Don't overthink. And if you don't feel comfortable with certain things, and I mean, I know for me, I was not comfortable with the pointing and the dancing. I am not a dancer. I was nicknamed Chicken when I was when I was in my 20s, because I literally danced like a chicken. But I love that. I love chicken, so it's okay. But you know, so for me, getting in there and doing that was just, it was not my, that was not my thing. So find what feels comfortable for you. Now, some other things to think about when you're filming or taking photos is just filming good lighting. And that can be literally standing in a window with the morning light or using a ring light. You can buy some really cheap ring lights and that's perfect. Another thing to think about is what's in your background when you're taking a photo or when you're doing a video. Think about what's going on in your background. And it took me a little while to get in the mindset of thinking that, but now whenever I'm about to go live or I'm taking a photo, I always notice what's in the background. And it just helps to keep things looking professional, especially if you're wanting to have a really, you know, a clean brand and you're wanting things to look really professional. And this is probably a really obvious one, but when filming, shoot vertically. Yeah, so shoot in portrait mode vertically. Another really helpful tip with reels is leading with a hook. So when you're thinking about how you're going to start your reel or your video, how you start it actually matters. So plan your reel with a hook. So something that hooks your viewers in and convinces them to keep watching. And it can be something you say, it can be a special effect, a facial expression, text, or an image. I tend to always have, and you can have a look at my page as well, but I will always have it so that I save, when I save my posts and reels, the reel, I'll put a cover photo, which actually has the topic of what I'll be talking about. So if someone's scrolling through my page, they can really see what that video is going to be about really easily. Okay. Just checking I haven't missed anything. We've covered a few of the things I've got written down here. As I mentioned, Instagram can be a little bit fiddly, but something that's really important to remember is if you are wanting to do things where you're pointing and you're, you know, you're doing things, certain things in time with music, really try to make sure that it is actually in time, because it can be really off-putting if you're pointing to something and then it's not matching the words that you've linked it up to. Okay, but it takes practice. Keep it simple to start with. Video with you talking, add a background, music, easy. Just don't overthink it. And having the bones will help you to get out of your head and be like, no, this is the information that I want to share for this. And it just takes away that overthinking. And one thing that I wanted to cover here is be original and creative. There's nothing worse than you seeing people that are copying others. You know, look at others for inspiration, but don't copy other people's work. That's a really big thing. And I think it's something that's really rife in social media at the moment, is you're seeing a lot of people just copying, taking people's content, taking people's images and cutting off logos. That's a really big no-no. Okay. All right, so one of the last things I'll cover is scheduling content in advance. So I don't need to really drill down on what the importance of scheduling in advance can be. I don't schedule everything in advance. As I said, if I have a busy day, it's really helpful to schedule things in advance, because you know you can get through the day and be like, damn it, I forgot to post. But some scheduling tools that are really helpful. Now I know Trace loves the Facebook and Instagram inbuilt process, which is the Meta Business Suite. I haven't got my head around that yet. I have been using SynShare for Facebook for ages, and I use that because it allows me to also share in groups. I will eventually move on to the Meta Business Suite when I can get my head around it, but I've been using the other one for so long that I just haven't, it's on my to-do list. And I also use Tailwind for Instagram. And if anyone would like to share ones that they're loving, please share in the comments as well. But the Meta Business Suite is free as well. And the SynShare, they do have lower plans that you don't have to pay anything for as well. So, but yeah, most importantly, have fun. Social media is an opportunity to have fun. Embrace it. Don't be afraid to experiment with different formats. Nothing's set in cement. So try out different trends, you know, do what feels good. And Trace did cover this a little bit, but don't compare likes and views. Don't sit there and think, oh my gosh, I need to have all of this. One thing I want to really point out is if your post reaches 5 people, ask yourself, would you teach a class for 5 people? If you reach 10, would you teach a class for 10? As you grow, 50 people, what would that be like if you had 50 people in a room that were listening to your content? 100 plus views, what would that look like? You know, so just think about that. And most importantly, don't hide behind photos and generic images. There's nothing worse than going onto someone's page and you can't see any images of them because you don't get to know them. And if someone doesn't get to know you through your face and what you're trying to share, it can be scary at first, but you know, just imagine you're talking to an old friend. So yeah. Does anyone have any questions at all? Oh, we've got Melissa's just shared Plan, PLANN, allows you to share to both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks, Melissa. I haven't heard of them.
We used to use Hootsuite, but we found, which did the same, shared to both Instagram and Facebook, but we found our reach was so low because Instagram especially was saying, oh, that's an outside app. Yeah. And they were like, we were getting, you know, no one see anything, like 2 people maybe. And, you know, that's really strange with the following that we have. So, yeah, that's why we changed to the Facebook. And it's just in the business suite. I can share a screen and show you guys another time. But it's free. It seems the algorithm seems to like it. It glitches a lot. So again, save as you go. I often type it up in my notes or a Word doc and then copy it over. And I'm always over the amount of characters in Instagram because I like writing a piece. And Joe's like, no one's going to read that because she just likes dot points. But the other thing I was going to touch on, and I've got a list of questions, so hopefully no one else has any. So with your goal planning, Amy, do you set dates and targets around your goals?
I think it's really important to do that. I mean, when you're thinking about your week to week, that can change depending on what's going on in your life. I think it's really important to sort of have a yearly goal and go, okay, every year reevaluate where you're wanting your business to be, what you're wanting to do. But yeah, I think it just evolves as you go through the business. And if you're feeling things are stale, then bring that up again. Ask yourself those goal questions for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to know, when was the last time everyone here actually set some goals? So you can either comment on it or just think about it mindfully of like, when was the last time you actually sat down and was like, do you know what? I want to rank advance by XYZ time, or I want to get back to my rank that I haven't been in, you know, 3 years, whatever it might be. So, you know, when was the last time you actually did that? So set that as a priority as well, writing your avatar out, nailing your niche, but start to think about your goals of what you want. Like, what do you want by the end of Grow? You know, that starts 1st of November. So what do you want by the end of the Grow season? If you're in Grow, or even if you're not in Grow, like what do you want by the end of the year?
Yeah.
From your business. And when you know what you're aiming for, you actually start to show up in your business differently.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a goal, you don't actually have a business. I hate to tell you. If you don't have a goal, you're just running a hobby, and that's okay. That's totally okay. But if you want it to be a business, then you have to show up in it like a business. I plan ours slightly differently. Ours are just on a simple Word doc. And so these are our next few months. Like we're out, we've planned our content, we've planned our targets and our features out until March. So you know, there's obviously still a lot of content to go in between that plan, but it's very just dot point. But we know what we're doing roughly out until March in our business because we need to run a business. So yeah, just get really clear, get really good at your goal planning and really make it a priority in your business. Could you give us some example?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So for October, we had BOGO. And because, you know, BOGO came up. So we quickly added that into our plan. We knew that we wanted to share daily lives. We knew that we wanted to share live on Insta, and we knew how many emails we were going to do. And that's basically a copy and paste from last BOGO. We're like, oh, BOGO, okay, copy and paste from last BOGO, here's what we're going to do this BOGO. And it's a little bit thrown in at the last minute, as we know with BOGO. But mostly we know, like Amy said before, the product of the month, order by the 15th, how many days are in the month. We know most things within our business. Within the doTERRA side, we can fit that in and we can have that. But the other things that we put into ours are, we have a few other things within our whole business, and Amy's the same. So we knew we were launching our course this month and different things. So we have those set in around our business. And the other thing we always add into our plan is our holidays and time off. So one of the things we add if we're doing a yearly plan, because, I'm running the business with my sister. She's got younger children. She needs to know when the school holidays are. She needs to know what time she's having off with her children, etc. Mine are older and don't care whether I was in the house or not. So prefer that I wasn't probably. So, but we had to plan that in. So, plan your personal time in to your business, because then you'll fit everything in and around that. And that's really important. Do you do that, Amy?
Yeah, for sure. And because I think it's really important to have in your mind time, like sectioned time off. Like even with social media, like I've made it a big, my husband, because he works away and he's only home on the weekends, on Sundays, it's either a Saturday or Sunday. It's normally a Sunday. I will not post or do anything on a Sunday, because for me, that's my headspace to clear. I'll have a slow morning. He'll take the kids. And I think that that's really important to filter that in so that you're not burning out and you're, like you said, you've got things to look forward to. You've got a holiday. You're treating it like a business. You're going to be going away at this time, or you're going to have the kids because they're on school holidays at this time. Whatever it is that you've got going on in your life, make sure you map that out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say I've got written down here, comparison. So one of the things that I forgot to touch on yesterday was comparing yourself to others on social media. And it's so easy to do. I give full permission to unfollow everyone. Unfollow. If you are following 5,000 doTERRA pages, all you will see is doTERRA, and you will get blocked so badly that you will think everyone has doTERRA. It's because it's all you see. And we did it in the start. We're like, I better follow all these people, including our downline, including our upline. I had to go through and unfollow because all I saw was doTERRA and nothing but doTERRA. And for me, when I go into my private social media, I don't actually want to see work. I want to see the gossip. Like I want to see what's happening in my friends' lives, not my business life. So I give everyone permission to unfollow us. Amy, unfollow if that's, if we're not inspiring you, but unfollow, because when you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you will get so blocked that your business won't advance. Yeah. And like Amy said before, is you won't create, you won't get creative, or you'll think, they did it, I better not do it. No, BS. You get out there and do it in your own way, because it's not copying people if you're inspired by someone else's ideas. It's copying if you do exactly what they've just done and you mimic it and you do it again, right? But don't unfollow people.
And even if it's not someone that is directly related to oils, but if you're on social media and you get a bad feeling whenever you see that person come up, just unfollow, because you don't need that energy. Like you want to, if you're going on, you just want to be able to have a quick look. Oh, that's inspiring. You want to feel inspiration. You don't want to feel like that dragging down. And I think, we've all done it where we've had the late night of a scroll and you just think, you have that icky feeling. Just unfollow people that don't. It's like that. What is it, Marie? Is it Marie Kondo? doesn't bring joy. Just get rid of it.
Yeah. And the same goes with following new people. Like we've just done this in our business Instagram, is we unfollowed a whole stack of people. Not that we bored is probably not the right word to use, but we were bored with their content and we wanted new content and we wanted new inspiration. And it's not that their content was boring. It became boring to us because we'd been following them for a really long time. And so, so feel free to swap and change that around. It'd be like if you read the same book over and over again, like the same book, like you need new. How often do we post, Amy?
You guys or me?
No, just how often do people post? I thought that might have been a question that someone.
Oh, how often? Oh,
How
I guess
often
it's
should
just
we
completely
post?
up to you guys. I do try to aim for daily. I just had a baby, so I had a baby 6 months ago. So things went off kilter for a little while, but I do try to be online most days. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think I love stories having time off, if you can have your time off in stories like Amy does, but that's where you have your scheduling in advance for your static posts. Yeah, so definitely if you can post each day. And I will reiterate what Amy said about graphics and images. If you are just using the doTERRA images, try and get some of your own, I guess is probably what I'm trying to say here. Try and take some of your own images. You can pop them into Canva. It takes hardly any time at all. And you can create a square, like a social post. It's all like they're all there. The templates are all there for you, and just pop your own image in, because you're not doTERRA corporate. And if your whole news feed looks like doTERRA's news feed, you're not going to get anywhere. Because again, like what both Amy has said tonight and what I said yesterday, they need to see the real you, and they need to follow the story like Amy said tonight. If there's no story to it and it's just a doTERRA graphic with a little bit of writing or I love wild orange caption, you've got to get this story happening. It's the only way for social media.
Yeah. The other thing when we're talking about unfollowing people and different things like that, the other thing that I'd like to add is remember that even if you're watching someone's stories, even if they've got 20 stories a day, that is 15-second snippets. Well, I know it's longer now, but it's 15-second snippets of somebody's day. You never know what anyone's going through behind the scenes. And so that it really is that importance. If you're watching someone and it's making you feel less than, or it's making you feel like you could never be successful in your business, really you've got to just unfollow and just keep reminding yourself that you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and just do you. In that, when you're having that, what I was talking about with the bones of like the skeleton plan of your business, and you're sticking to things that you want to share, that you can help your people with, it really helps to just get out of your head with, I'm not enough. Just you have things to offer people, and you have people who are screaming for help in their lives, and we have beautiful tools to be able to help people with those. Yeah. Sorry, one sec.
You're right. I was going to go back to the reels and whether we use our original audio, so as in like we talk and say something over the top, hello gorgeous, or whether you do the voiceover type things. A mixture of both is great if you want to do voiceover type things, but we personally find if it's our voice, if it's us talking about something, then we see a way bigger reach than if we're just doing a voiceover type thing. So just keep that in mind too. And you don't have to even show your face to have a really successful reel. If you go look at, we had one, oh my God, it's actually hilarious. We had one that's had 3.2 million views or some crazy thing. It's the most ridiculous. You have to actually go and watch it. It's the most ridiculous reel. It's me putting baking paper in a round cake tin. And it's gone crazy. I'm not even in it. It's just my hands. I talk over it. I think I talk over it. Maybe I don't even talk over it. But it's ridiculous. So time lapses are really great. If you're not friends with the camera yet, time lapses are a really great one to get friendly with the camera, because you can just pop it over there in the corner, pretend it's not there, and then when it all comes together a time lapse. You're so fast, you don't see anything, of you, but you get the idea of someone's cooking in the kitchen, or you're cleaning up a bedroom, or you're tidying up the mess, or mowing the lawn, or whatever it might be. So time lapses are really great to get friendly with the camera. And the other one, just put it overhead, get yourself like some type of ring light situation or a stand. They're really cheap in Kmart. I've just got like a stand like this. My phone can sit in there. I can extend it out and stuff. It's really flimsy and it falls over all the time, but it works. And I wouldn't put it in the wind, but inside it's fine. And get it so that you can get ones that come out over, and you can just be doing your hands and filling up your foaming hand wash. You don't have to have your face in them if you're not there yet. But definitely reels, I 1,000,000% agree with Amy. They're really great for reaching new audience and also for educating the current audience. And the other thing I love about having reels in my repertoire of current stuff is when you, let's say BOGO happens or something else happens in your business and you want to repurpose, they're so handy to have to repurpose. If you've got your foaming hand wash and your DIY cleaning spray and your paste and your something, and then BOGO happens and there's happens to be these really great oils in there, and you're like, oh yeah, I put that into my foaming hand wash, here's my reel. You don't have to recreate it. You share the reel you created 3 years ago. So put them all up. We know frankincense is about to come up in December. I mean, we all know, right? So, get a frankincense something happening, get it created in advance, have it in your drafts. Like, these are traditionally, we know frankincense is going to be in December. It's a 200 PV. It's been that way for the last 9 years. Pretty sure they're not going to change it. So get some of that, but then you just use that reel for the next 9 years. Like, you don't have to recreate the same reel over again or create a new reel. So think about the things that doTERRA do seasonally and get some of those things into your repertoire as well, of even posts. Like, you can just draw the same post out of your feed and reshare it up into your story. And that actually, I will touch on that. Always, 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 always share your posts or your reels or your lives up into your story. You'll get way more views, see it. People see it.
The other thing I was going to add as well is it doesn't even need to be when there's a special or anything like that. Like, say, for example, I've got a reel that I made about a hot chocolate where I use the vanilla essential oil. If I always get asked what my recipe is for my hot chocolate. So like, I'll have a photo of me. Sorry, Bob's a little bit upset. I'll have a photo of me drinking my hot chocolate in the morning, and the amount of times that I've reshared that hot chocolate reel, instead of having to go and explain, oh, this is how I make it. It's there. So it's that, it's that repurposing, and I do love that. And that's another good thing. If you have a really busy day and you think, say for example, you teach people about low tox. If you have a really busy day and you're thinking something to do, if you have a reel about the dishwashing powder, the laundry powder that you can use as a dishwashing powder, you can just have a photo of you turning on your dishwasher and repost that reel, and that's sharing that content again. And I can guarantee that there'll be people that will watch that. Even if you've posted it 10 times, there'll be someone that will see that hasn't seen it before. So just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, I totally agree. We repurpose stuff all the time. Someone did ask about Facebook reels and Instagram reels. Personally, I've never actually created a reel on Facebook. All of our reels have been created in Instagram. So I don't actually know. I've never put one together from the Facebook app. But what I do is I use that igram.io that Amy shared before. I download it and then I re-upload it as a post in Facebook. So then it goes into my feed as a post with the saying. I just copy and paste the wording. You might change a few things, like in an Instagram, we might say via the link in our bio. Well, that doesn't apply to Facebook. So you might, change a couple of little wordings for Facebook and be like via the link on our website or something, and change it up. So don't forget to do that if you're sharing to both platforms, because the link in bio means nothing to Facebook. They'll be like, what are you talking about? So just be wary of those little things, but otherwise copy and paste, pop it into Facebook. And the other thing with your content is make sure it's really easy to read. So even using emojis or the arrow pointing, like if you're saying I've got 3 tips for you, have 3 pointy arrows or something to the 3 tips, or 3 flowers or whatever, to the 3 tips, so that they stand out. And when someone's doing that scroll, they will see those tips better. And yeah, so just keep that in mind as well, of like your content. Make sure you've got spaces in the right spot. Check your grammar. It's really important. Just all those little things that sometimes slip through, but don't be perfectionist either. One of the things I'm always saying to Joe is a B+. We're just aiming for a B+, Joe. We do not need A+, A-. We just need a B+. Our customers don't care if we have got a little spelling mistake or there's a little bit of mess in the background. They want to see some real life. So a B+ is all we need. And then we can go back and refine that and maybe fix it if there's a really bad boo-boo or something. But yeah, B+. Aim for B+, people.
The other thing is, if you have text that that you're sharing and you want someone to read a certain amount of text, make sure you give enough time for that text so that read it as you're looking at it when you're creating it, and make sure that person has enough time to actually read the text as well. Because oftentimes I'll see reels that are created and it's like a paragraph and it's on for a second and you're like, what did that say? So make sure you give people enough time to read the little texts that you're actually giving them to read as well.
Yeah. I probably should let anyone ask a question. I'll shut up now. Anyone want to butt in? No questions. We're good. I know we have gone over time, but that's fine. I can't see anyone trying to unmute themselves, so I think we're all good. If we do have questions, just pop them in that Facebook group. I'll pop this up. So Amy, with the ebook, we can add that into those groups, that it will allow us, because I'm not an admin in some of those groups.
Yeah, I can just have a Canva link and people can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's easy. And well, did you want to, or is it easy? Can you pop the Canva link in here? And then at least then people can copy and paste it if you want to quickly grab it from here in case you miss it in the Facebook group. And that's another really important thing whilst Amy's grabbing that link is you might feel like you're sharing your content again and again and, I'm making foaming hand wash again. But like what Amy said before, people don't see everything. And when you read through this ebook, you'll see that there's a lot of mention of repurposing your content. So you might have done a really great post and then you can repurpose that over into an email, and don't be scared to do that. And it will allow you to get more content out there by repurposing your content. You might even do a post and a reel and an email on exactly the same topic. You might have a slightly different wording, but the same topic. It might say be foaming hand wash if I pick on that. And so because what happens is your open rate of your emails is probably going to be around 20%. Your Facebook views might be, or they vary, but, a few percent. And your Instagram views, they're not everyone sees your content that you put out every day. So just be wary of that. Like as you're putting content out, you might feel like you're putting a lot of content out, but not everyone is seeing it. So don't be afraid to put a lot of content out there, because the people that want to see it all the time will, but not everyone sees it. And you will know that yourself, because how many people do you follow that you don't even see in your news feed every day? Or when you're watching stories, I only watch about the first 5 people we follow, and then I'm out. Like, then I'm bored. Like, and I want to move on, because, our brains have got a 3-second memory span now. So think about what you do and know that your customer's doing the same. Even though you're putting out this amazing content, you've got to keep putting out all this amazing content. So hopefully that helps. Doesn't freak you out, but helps.
May I just quickly ask one more question, if that's okay?
Yes, it is. Sorry.
No, what just popped up in my head is how important is it to create, I guess, highlights on your profile?
I would definitely create highlights if they're. He doesn't want it. He wants to say a grandma.
No, he does, mummy.
That's my fur baby. What was I saying? Highlights if they're frequently asked. So if you have been asked the same question more than 3 times, I would create a highlight on it.
Okay.
Because it's easy for people to find, and it's also easy for you to go back and find when someone asks the same question again. You can either say it's in my highlights and teach your audience to go to your highlights. And then you can add to those highlights as they go. That also means with your highlights, it is probably a good idea to go back and clean them up sometimes. If they're 183 weeks old, they're probably not relevant anymore. But if they're, 10 weeks old, that's probably fine. But definitely add to your highlights, especially if you've got things like discount codes and don't be afraid to ask for discount codes, by the way, everyone. Definitely frequently asked questions, add to a highlights reel.
Okay, thank you so much. That's really helpful.
No, that's all right. Amy or Joey, do you have anything to add to that? No. All right. I think any other questions before we go? I'm happy to stay on. I'm not kicking you off, I promise. No, I think we're all good. All right. I will get this up into the group. Amy will add the Canva link, but copy and paste that if you've got time still. And we will see you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. again. And it's about the 4 pillars of content. So I'll dive deeper into what educational content looks like and what relatable content looks like, and so on and so on. So it's a really good presentation. I've done it a few times and it's been really helpful for everyone that's seen it so far. So I'm excited to bring that to you guys, and hopefully it helps. And good luck if you're in Grow. Good luck. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.